welcome back to a new episode of Can to Be Like, a Cantonese and English bilingual podcast helping you to learn Cantonese and Hong Kong culture. I'm your host, Venus, and today's episode is another phrase episode. This is the third episode of the Housing and Living in Hong Kong series. And in today's episode, I'm going to teach you some useful vocabularies and phrases that you can potentially use when you are trying to live in Hong Kong or especially renting a flat in Hong Kong. And going forward for Can to Be Like, I might not continue with the format of like a 3-episode series, which I think is a bit too much for me as I have to speak about the same topic for 3 weeks straight. And also, if this topic doesn't interest you, you will be stuck with it for 3 weeks as well. So I think I will try to do standalone episodes. So each episodes are like self-contained. So they're not related to the previous episode and the next episode as much as they are now. So going forward, we will be doing something new, so stay tuned and keep an eye out. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first scenario I want to present to you is you are, say, fresh off the boat in Hong Kong and you desperately need a flat to live in. I know it's a bit unrealistic. You probably have your living situation sorted out before moving here, right? But let's assume you're in Hong Kong, you still haven't had a flat, or you are trying to find a new flat. The way you would do it is to go to a real estate agent. And some well-known Hong Kong real estate agents includes 美聯物業、利嘉閣、中原地產. So these are the big ones. They have outlets everywhere in Hong Kong, so there must be one real estate agent around the corner. In my area, I think there are like 5 different ones, so they're very easy to spot. The easiest way is to look through their listing, or maybe ask them this. So 有冇房出租? 有冇房出租? Do you have any flat for rent? And after you have asked them that question, or they usually very eagerly hand you the listing, you have your picks, so you shortlist something, and then you will do the viewing. So you will ask, 我想睇呢間屋. 我想睇呢間屋 or 我想睇樓 我想睇樓 I want to view the apartment. Then when you actually go to view the house with them, so they usually have the keys if the flat is vacant, so they will just take you there. And these flats, these offering listings are usually in the vicinity of the outlet, so you can just go with them. And these are some of the common questions that you would ask. So the first one would be, 呢度幾多錢一個月啊? 呢度幾多錢一個月啊? Or you would say, 呢度幾錢租? 呢度幾錢租? So the first one is more particular, is asking how much is the rent per month here. 呢度幾錢一個月啊? And the second one is just asking the rent in general. So 呢度幾錢租? And the second question is very important. So you will ask, 包唔包水電煤? 包唔包水電煤? So does it include utilities like 水 is water, 電 is electricity, and 煤 is gas? So 水電煤 in general is utilities. Or sometimes you would even ask, 呢度包唔包網㗎? 呢度包唔包網㗎? So does it include Wi-Fi? And then you would ask something, 包唔包家私啊? 包唔包家私㗎? So is it furnished? Does it include furniture? And this is I throw in this as a bonus because it's important for some people, which is 可唔可以養寵物啊? 可唔可以養寵物啊? Can I keep pets? Then you might ask something with regard to neighborhoods and amenities. So something like 呢度附近有咩站㗎? 呢度附近有咩站㗎? And they would reply something like, 南昌站喺附近㗎, 或者地鐵巴士線7號喺附近㗎. So it's just asking what kind of So 呢度附近有咩站 means what are the stops in the neighborhood. So say metro, bus stop, etc. And they can say 南昌站喺附近. So 南昌 station is nearby. And 巴士線7號都喺附近 means the bus route 7, number 7 is in the vicinity as well. And you might ask something like 附近有冇商場同埋超市㗎? 附近有冇商場同埋超市㗎? Is there supermarket and malls nearby? And you might ask like 游泳池、公園、圖書館. So 游泳池 is swimming pool, 公園 is park, and 圖書館 is library. So these might be some important amenities to you. So to summarize, the things you would ask when you're preliminarily viewing a flat would be, so when you want to view a flat, or when you are asking, so first when you are asking if they have a flat is 有冇房出租? 有冇房出租? And then once you picked something you like, you will tell them 我想睇樓. 我想睇樓. I want to view the apartment. And once you're at the apartment, you're quite happy about it, you will start asking these questions. So first, with regard to money, 呢度幾錢一個月㗎? 呢度幾錢一個月㗎? How much is the rent per month here? Then you will drill into the details. So you ask them if they include utilities like water, electricity, and gas. 包唔包水電煤㗎? 包唔包水電煤㗎? Then you might ask something like, is it furnished? 有冇家私㗎? 有冇家私㗎? Or 包唔包家私㗎? 包唔包家私㗎? Then you take care of your furry friends. You will ask, 可唔可以養寵物㗎? 可唔可以養寵物㗎? Can I keep pets here? And then you ask about the general amenities and the neighborhood. And one thing a lot of people are concerned of, it's the transportation links. So you can ask, 呢度附近有咩站㗎? 呢度附近有咩站㗎? And this directly translates to what are the stops nearby. But by asking that, you're asking if there are MTR stations, bus stations, so all stops in general. So you're asking the general situation of transportation links. So 呢度附近有咩站㗎? And the answer could be 地鐵南昌站喺附近, 地鐵中環站喺附近, or 7號巴士線喺附近, 10號巴士線喺附近, 附近有叮叮, 有渡海小輪, etc. etc. So they will just tell you all kinds of transportation nearby. Or I know a lot of people who are not familiar with the city prefer MTR, so you can ask them 最近嘅地鐵站喺邊啊? 最近嘅地鐵站喺邊啊? So where is the nearest MTR station? Then you will ask about shopping, right? Because you need to stock up on your groceries. So you'll ask 附近有冇超市或者商場㗎？附近有冇超市或者商場㗎？ Is there a supermarket or mall nearby? And you might ask, so I will throw in some extra vocabularies. So some people really want a park, 公園 or a pool, a swimming pool, 游泳池 a library, 圖書館 or a sports center, not a gym, a sports center where you can play badminton and is governed by the government. So we call it 體育館 or a gym, 健身室 And you might ask something like restaurant, 餐廳 And this is I will throw in this one just in case. You can ask about the safety of this area, but I don't think a lot of people ask about it because Hong Kong in general is very safe. But you can ask something like 呢度夜晚安唔安全㗎？呢度夜晚安唔安全㗎？ Is this area safe at night? Because in broad daylight, Hong Kong is super safe. But there are some dodgy areas in the cities at night, so it might be worth asking about that when you're renting a flat. As I know, money is a big concern when you're renting a flat. So I'm gonna cover some phrases that you can use to negotiate the rent and deposit. So a very direct and very strict to a point phrase would be, can it be cheaper? So 可唔可以平啲啊？可唔可以平啲啊？ And you can say something like 我覺得間屋有啲舊喎，或者個裝修唔係咁好喎，其實可唔可以平啲啊？ Which means the flat is a bit old or the furnishing is not that good, so can we negotiate a cheaper price? So you state your reason and then you say this, 可唔可以平啲啊？可唔可以平啲啊？ So something I would say would be 我覺得呢個價錢唔係好合理，因為你呢間屋可能都唔係裝修得咁好啦，咁我覺得我俾呢個價錢唔係一個合理嘅價錢，可唔可以平啲啊？ So what I said was I don't think it's a reasonable price because the furnishing is not that good, so can you offer me a cheaper price? It's quite common when you're negotiating with your landlord. And the second thing would be how much is the deposit? So I think it's quite common you pay 1 month in advance, so you pay 2 months rent as deposit and 1 month's rent in advance, that kind of thing, to make sure the landlord receive your rent. And you can also negotiate that. You can say something like 我覺得呢度裝修都唔係咁好，其實按金可唔可以少啲啊？ So when they don't want to give you a cheaper rent, you might want to negotiate for less deposit, right? So you can say 我可以俾呢個租金，但係可唔可以俾少啲按金？ So I can pay this rent, but can we do a smaller deposit? 我可以俾咁多租金，但係我可唔可以俾少啲按金？ And scenario 2 would be you are actually living in the flat and something has gone wrong, or so during your tenancy at the flat, so you might be dealing with your landlord when things are going south in the flat, especially if you rented somewhere that's a bit old, which requires a lot of repair and maintenance. It's the same with my own apartment, so there are always things that is kaput, like broken. I'm going to teach you some phrases that for you to complain and request for repair. So first would be when the AC is broken. So AC, air conditioning, is 冷氣. So you can say 喂包租婆或者包租公, so landlord, landlady. Okay, we don't really call them that now, but landlord, landlady is 包租公包租婆. But you can say their surname is Lee, okay? So you can say 李小姐，我哋間屋冷氣壞咗啊，你可唔可以派人嚟整啊？ So Miss Lee, like your landlady, our air conditioning is broken. Can you send somebody to fix it? I will repeat. So 李小姐，我哋屋企冷氣壞咗啊，你可唔可以派一個人嚟整啊？ Okay. And the second scenario is like something always happens as well, is your toilet is leaking. So you can say 我哋屋企廁所漏水啊，你可唔可以派人嚟整啊？ So our toilet is leaking. Can you send somebody to repair? And sometimes we will say 可唔可以叫師傅嚟整? So we refer to the repairman, the handyman, as 師傅. So 可唔可以叫師傅嚟整? So you say what's wrong. It can be 冷氣壞咗, the AC is broken, or 廁所漏水, the toilet is leaking. And then you plus this phrase, 可唔可以叫師傅嚟整啊? Can you call a handyman? 可唔可以叫師傅嚟整? The last thing I want to talk about is not related to renting. It's more like when you and your friends are discussing your living situation. Say, where do you live? What kind of things do you have in your neighborhood? How do we come to your flat? So the first would be, where do you live? So say your coworker or just someone you're having a small talk with, they're like, okay, so Joe, where do you live? They will ask, 喂阿 Joe, 你住喺邊㗎? 喂阿 Joe, 你住喺邊㗎? And you can say something like, I live in New Territories, Kowloon, or Hong Kong Island, or you can just say the name of the district. So the answer could be, 我住喺香港島㗎. 我住喺香港島㗎. I live on the Hong Kong Island. Or 我住喺九龍㗎. 我住喺九龍㗎. I live in Kowloon. Or 我住喺新界㗎. 我住喺新界㗎. I live in New Territories. And say the district is 元朗. You can say 我住喺元朗㗎. 我住喺元朗㗎. Then you can add this to out of politeness, or maybe you're just curious, so you can ask them, 咁你呢? 你住喺邊㗎? 咁你呢? 你住喺邊㗎? How about you? Where do you live? Then they repeat with something I just said. And sometimes they might ask, so who do you live with? Do you live with your family? Do you live with your partner? Etc. etc. So they will ask something like, 誒係喎，你同邊個住㗎? 咦係喎，你同邊個住㗎? Would translate to, oh yeah, so who do you live with? You can say something like, 我同我女朋友一齊住. 或者我同我男朋友一齊住. So I live with my partner. Or you can say, 我同屋企人住. 我同我屋企人住. I live with my family. 咁你呢? 你同邊個住㗎? And you? Who do you live with? 咁你呢? 你同邊個住㗎? Then they answer something like that as well. And they might ask you, 咁你屋企附近有啲咩㗎? 咁你屋企附近有啲咩㗎? So what have you got in your neighborhood? 我屋企附近有公園、圖書館同埋都幾多餐廳㗎. So you can answer with something like that, depending on your situation. And they might follow or finish with an invitation. 哇，聽落都幾好啊，咁不如約喺你屋企附近度見下面啦. 哇，聽落都幾好喎，不如約喺你屋企附近見個面啦。Wow, your neighborhood sounds good. Shall we hang out near your house? So that's it for today. 今日就嚟到呢度啦。Thanks for your listening, and I hope it will be useful for you and your learning or understanding the housing and how to rent a flat in Hong Kong, and some phrases to help you to negotiate and communicate with your landlord and real estate agent. So this is Canto Be Like, and I'm Venus. Thanks for listening. See you next time. 保重啊，拜拜。